Would you rather have $1 million in cash right now, or a single magic penny that doubles in value every day for 30 days? 90% of people will take the $1 million instantly, completely unaware that they just made the worst financial decision of their lives.
The truth is, the human brain is biologically incapable of comprehending the sheer power of exponential growth.
Albert Einstein allegedly called this force the eighth wonder of the world. Those who understand it, earn it. Those who don't, pay it. Years ago, Adler was an ordinary employee. He didn't have a massive salary, a trust fund, or a genius IQ. But what he did have was time and a deep understanding of the fundamental law of wealth creation: compound interest. He realized that money isn't just a tool for buying things. Money is a seed that can grow its own forest. He stopped trying to get rich quick and decided to build an unstoppable financial machine that would guarantee his wealth. He broke down the mechanics of compound interest into 7 key lessons. Let's explore the first core principle. Part 1. The illusion of linear growth versus the reality of exponential wealth. From a young age, society trains us to think linearly. You work 1 hour, you get paid 1 hour. It is a straight, predictable line. Adler knew that if he relied solely on linear growth, his wealth would forever be capped by the number of hours he could physically work. Compound interest, however, completely shatters this physical limit. It doesn't move in a straight line, it curves violently upwards. In a compounding system, your money earns money, and then that new money earns even more money on your behalf. It is the ultimate form of passive leverage. Your capital becomes an army of tireless workers that never sleep and never ask for a vacation. Psychologically, this is why people fail to invest. Our brains naturally project the future as a straight line, blinding us to exponential results. Adler didn't get discouraged by the slow start. He understood that the math was an undeniable law of nature. He knew that the flat beginning was just the runway required for an incredible, unstoppable takeoff. The core lesson: stop thinking in terms of addition and start programming your mind for multiplication. Part 2. The magic penny and the danger of the disappointment valley. Let's return to the magic penny. After 10 full days of doubling, you only have $5.12.
The person who took the $1 million is laughing at you. This is what behavioral economists call the valley of disappointment.
By day 20, 2/3 of the time has passed, and you only have $5,000. You feel like a fool.
This is the exact moment where 99% of amateur investors quit. They don't see the massive results quickly enough.
But Adler understood the secret. The magic of compounding doesn't happen in the beginning. It happens at the very end. Day 28, 1.3 million. Day 29, 2.6 million. And on day 30, you finish with over $5.3 million. The vast majority of the growth occurred in the final 3 days. The hardest part of wealth building is surviving the long, boring period where it looks like absolutely nothing is happening. The takeaway: never interrupt compounding unnecessarily. Patience is not just a virtue, it is the ultimate financial multiplier. Part 3. Conquering present bias and the dopamine trap. Evolution biologically wired us to survive the present day. Cavemen didn't save food for retirement, they ate it immediately. This creates present bias. Our brains flood with dopamine when we buy a shiny new car today. But saving money for a distant, abstract future produces absolutely zero dopamine. Our primitive brain hates waiting.
Adler knew he had to outsmart his own biology. He had to bridge the gap between his present desires and his future wealth. He did this by visualizing his future freedom so intensely that it created more dopamine than any luxury item could. Psychologists call this delayed gratification, the ability to endure a minor sacrifice today for a massive reward tomorrow. Every time you save and invest, you are literally transferring purchasing power across time to a wealthier version of yourself. Lesson 3.
Wealth is simply the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient. Part 4. The unfair advantage of the time horizon. Adler started investing just $200 a month when he was only 19 years old. He did this for just 8 years, and then he stopped completely at age 27. He never contributed another penny. His friend waited until age 27 to start. To catch up, the friend invested $200 every month until he was 65. The friend invested his own money for 38 years. Adler only invested his own money for 8 years. But at age 65, Adler has significantly more money than his friend. How is this mathematically possible? Because in the formula for compound interest, time is the exponent. Time is exponentially more powerful than the amount of money you invest. The money belonging to the same Adler had more time to multiply itself. The early years of compounding dictate the massive explosion at the end. The best time to plant an oak tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Lesson 4. Do not wait until you have a lot of money to start. Start now with whatever you have to buy time. Part 5. The mechanics of the interest-earning interest engine. Let's look under the hood. When you invest, your original money, the principal, earns a profit called interest. Simple interest stops there. But compounding happens when you leave that new interest right where it is. In year 2, your principal earns interest again. But now, your previous interest also earns its own interest. Year after year, the profits generate their own profits. It is a financial chain reaction, a self-sustaining nuclear reactor of wealth. Eventually, the interest generated in a single year dwarfs the entire amount of money you originally contributed. At the end of a 30-year investing career, over 80% of your total wealth will be pure compound interest, not your savings.
This is the snowball effect in reality. Once it gains enough momentum, it grows entirely under its own power.
But there is one absolute requirement for this engine to work. You must never, ever touch the principal or the profits. Lesson 5. Reinvest every single dividend, every single profit, and let the machine do its job. Part 6. The silent wealth destroyer and the panic trap.
The greatest threat to compound interest isn't a market crash. It is your own emotional psychology during that crash. When the market drops 20%, fear takes over. Amateurs sell their assets at the absolute bottom, locking in their losses. By selling, they do the one thing you must never do. They reset the compound interest clock back to zero.
Historically, the market always recovers and reaches new all-time highs. Those who stay invested capture the massive rebound.
The contrast is clear. I know the feeling.
You must view market crashes not as a disaster, but as a temporary, expected winter in your long-term investing season. Lesson 6. Survive the volatility. Do not sabotage your own mathematical miracle out of temporary fear. Part 7. Automating the snowball for guaranteed success. Adler knew that human willpower is fundamentally flawed. If you have to consciously choose to save money every month, you will eventually fail.
To guarantee his wealth, he removed himself from the equation entirely. He completely automated his investments.
The very day his paycheck arrived, a specific percentage was automatically transferred into a broad market index fund. He didn't try to pick winning stocks or time the market. He simply bought a piece of the entire global economy and let it ride. Because the system was automatic, he never had to think about it. He spent his mental energy on living his life, not watching numbers. Rain or shine, bull market or bear market, the automated machine bought more assets every single month. This is dollar cost averaging. Automation bridges the gap between intention and execution. It makes building wealth a default state, rather than a conscious struggle. Remove the friction. Make doing the right financial thing the absolute easiest path.
Lesson 7. Automate the behavior and let the mathematics handle the rest.
He simply understood the math, started early, automated his contributions, and brutally refused to interrupt the compounding process.
He respected the magic penny. He endured the valley of disappointment and allowed time to do the heavy lifting.
Because he turned his money into a self-sustaining engine, he bought the ultimate luxury: total ownership of his own time. He escaped the linear trap. He doesn't trade hours for dollars anymore. His capital works, so he doesn't have to. Compound interest is not just a financial concept. It is a universal law that applies to habits, relationships, and knowledge. Whatever you invest consistently today, whether it is money, time, or learning, will multiply exponentially over your lifetime. The eighth wonder of the world is waiting for you to use it. But the clock is ticking, and time is the most vital ingredient. Your journey to exponential wealth doesn't require genius. It only requires the discipline to begin today.
Plant the seed, protect it fiercely, and let time build your empire.
If the story of ADLR helped you finally understand the power of compound interest, don't let this knowledge go to waste. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to join our community of smart, long-term wealth builders. Drop a comment below and tell me, at what age did you make your very first investment? Let's inspire each other. Leave a like to support the channel, and click the video on your screen right now to learn the 5 worst habits keeping you broke.